Good morning, everybody. My name is Billy Funk. I'm here in Chicago. It is noon here in Chicago, which means it's Mindset Your Marketing time. I'm here with my two co-hosts, Lany Sullivan and Shannon Young. Lany is out there either in Oregon or California right now, and Shannon's down there in Georgia. And we're going to be talking today about taking risks and how when you go out there and you really want a reward, the best way to do that is to take a risk. And that if you see something that you want, just go for it. You know, there's so many leaders in all aspects of business that can literally say to you right now that they wouldn't have got to where they got if they didn't take some sort of risk. When you look at life in general, you realize that we're taking risks on a daily basis. You know, walking down the stairs, walking across the street, getting in a car, getting in a plane, you know, going to and from work. There's always risk involved. Most people don't look at it like that. And most people don't realize that if you really want to achieve something, if you really want to hit that big home run, well, you got to swing the bat. You got to actually take the chance of swinging and missing. And I think it was Babe Ruth that said every time he strikes out, he's that much closer to a home run. And I think most entrepreneurial mindsets that have had success have got that same type of a mindset. Because if you think about it, risk is really a short way of saying possibility of pain. You know, without risk, there is no great reward, since risk and reward, they go hand in hand. You know, our brain and our mind, it works on comparison. You know, what we find painful is relative to the experiences of those around us because we tailor our expectations. If our expectations are met, we seldom find it painful. Unless, of course, that's what we were expecting. In that case, then we get exactly what we're looking for. But there's two things that really make you alive or feel alive. That's pain and pleasure. And if you never feel pain, pleasure won't measure. I like that one. If you never feel pain, pleasure won't measure because they go hand in hand, just like success and failure. You can't have one without the other. You can't climb a mountain without first starting at the bottom. You can't go out there and just feel this abundance without knowing first that, you know, at one time you didn't have it. Same with you can't really know that you're sick without first being healthy, and vice versa. So if you really want to achieve something in life, if you really want to get to that top of the ladder, if you really want to get to the top of the mountain of whatever industry, whatever passion, whatever it is that you want to achieve, you first got to start at the bottom. You first got to risk falling. You got to risk, you know, scraping your knees, maybe bruising your elbows, maybe taking a black eye. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's all worth it in the end. When you look back on it, there's really no such thing as failure because it's really just a lesson. Failure is fantastic if you don't lose that lesson. And I think that in life, if you think that you're not good enough to date a model, well, guess what? You're not. If you think that you don't have what it takes to start a business, you're probably right. If you think that you can't go out there and achieve success, well, you're probably going to prove that to yourself. You have to know that you can be successful. You have to know that there's risk involved. And you got to be willing to go out there and take the step forward. Because those that sit in their chair, those that sit there and do nothing, they get nothing. And so if you really want something, you got to give something for it. You got to give the potentiality of feeling and getting pain. But remember, on the other side of every great pain is an even more enormous amount of pleasure. And I'm going to bring on somebody that I think loves to go out there and take, and I wouldn't say take massive risks, but she's somebody that loves to go out there and just not look back and go and push further and faster. And that's Shannon Young down there in Georgia. Shannon, I know that you've been really kicking ass and taking names lately. It doesn't have anything to do with you just going for it and not really fearing failure.
Hey, Billy, you know what? It absolutely does. What it does stem from lately is coming out of a failure. You know what? Those failures are inevitable. They are part of this industry. They are part of what makes you. They're part of what tears you down to the point that you have to reformat your mind to go forward, right? to keep going, keep digging, just take that risk. I mean, I see on a daily basis so many people start buying these products, right? Oh, my God, this is a secret code. This is going to crack my success wide open. No, it's not. The secret to success, and we say it almost in every single call, Billy and Lany, is, being dedicated, being persistent, being consistent, and a whole lot of communication. That is the key, and you have to get to the point to where you can't worry about what somebody else thinks about you. This is your life, this is your future, this is your call. I saw a quote by Donald Trump this morning that said, I didn't want to make a great living, I wanted to make a statement. And I loved that because, you know what, that's what this is about, is taking a risk, is making a statement. Dig in, grind down, be who you are, and be proud of where you're going,
What was that statement? What was that quote again from Donald Trump?
I didn't want to make a great income. I wanted to make a statement.
I like that a lot.
I
That's
do
really
too.
powerful. That's great.
Yeah, it was awesome, I thought.
Well, it's kind of funny. It's the premise behind network marketing, where if you go out there and you make a statement for yourself, if you grow yourself, develop yourself, and become that bigger and better person, and pretty much put yourself on stage, essentially, and get to that level, guess what? Your business, your profession, your success will follow you. It's really hard to get to that level personally and really grow and develop as a leader and stand out like Donald Trump without having financial and business success. But in his mind, it wasn't about the financing. It was about him standing out, him becoming a bigger person, and showing everybody who and what he really is. Love that, Shannon Young. Lany Sullivan, I know you're super busy. You got so many connections going on. You're probably you probably have a hangout on mute right now. But what do you have to add to the conversation on taking risks and just going for it?
It's so funny. I love that. I love preparing for these calls because I actually go and steal other people's content. It gives me motivation and inspiration. I was actually reading an article this morning on Forbes about taking risks, and a quote. This author said, "We are innately risk-averse and afraid of putting our vulnerability on the line." And the status quo is what we are okay with. We're afraid of basically opening up our skin, peeling back the onion and showing somebody who we really are, and saying, you know what, I'm totally afraid of stepping out of my comfort zone, so I'm going to lift myself up and I'm just going to keep going down. I'm going to go with the flow. And really, when you can step and you can put your vulnerability aside, and literally your vulnerability is that line in the sand. Can you cross over it? Can you step over it or not? And, we all fall on our faces. I've fallen on my faces more times than I want to admit, okay? But the thing is that every single time I fall on my face, I have gotten the strength to get back up and do it again. And you have to go dig deep, and that risk has to be worth it. You've got to know what your end game is. And again, a lot of times we talk about this stuff over and over, but it's because we want. The more times you hear it, the more it's going to get into your head. And if you don't know what your end result is, or what you want as your end result, you're never going to take the risk. You're never going to push forward. So you have to know exactly why you're doing it. Step outside your comfort zone. There's a quote that I've seen on Facebook online multiple times, and there's a picture, and it says, it's a circle, and it says, there's an arrow outside, and it's like, here's your comfort zone is outside the circle. So find out what your comfort zone is and step outside of it and know what that is. I know what my comfort zone is, and it scares the living crap out of me sometimes when I step outside of it. But is the result and the reward worth it in the end? Absolutely. Here's the thing. It's not instantaneous. You have to work for it. Billy, you had to work for your 10,000 followers. You had to work for your success in your business. Shannon, same with you. You had to work for, the success that you've had the last couple of weeks. we want instant gratification. And like Shannon said, everybody buys that quick tip. Oh, I want to make $100,000 in a month. Come on, let's be real, people. It doesn't happen, and you have to work for it. Donald Trump didn't make $100,000 in a month; he had to work for it. So, step outside yourself, step outside your comfort zone, lay your vulnerability aside, and jump in the water. The water's fine.
I love it. Jump in the water, and I'm a risk taker in life. I mean, if you don't know me, they call me extreme networker, and for a couple of reasons, I believe. One of them is my pursuit of extreme sports and just my kind of extreme lifestyle. I love ice climbing, rock climbing, whitewater kayaking, whitewater rafting, mountain biking, slacklining, highlining, you name it. For me, there's just this adrenaline that goes with it. So a lot of people have asked me, so do you just have absolutely no fear? No, it's not about not having fear. It's about having the courage to go past that. It's about the courage to go beyond that, to step outside your comfort zone, like Lany was saying, and just go for it. Because when you reach the top of the mountain, man, looking back, it's just this feeling of sheer accomplishment, of sheer awesome. When you figure out how to roll a kayak in whitewater, it's like, oh my God, did I really just do that? Was there a tremendous amount of risk on the line? Yeah, in that case there was. And I truly believe that when you have risk, great, otherwise unforeseen opportunities sometimes come out of it. We tend to view risk-taking negatively, often regarding it dangerous and even unwise to people. But while some risks certainly don't pay off, it's important to remember that some do. I think you got to reframe your mindset from risk being an opportunity to fail versus risk being an opportunity to learn and to succeed. And like Donald Trump showed us all, taking risks shows confidence. I mean, how many people out there can say that they know somebody that's more confident than Donald Trump? I don't know very many. Maybe Richard Branson, who is also a big risk taker. Donald Trump has filed for bankruptcy over and over and over again. He's taken risk after risk after risk, and still he's one of the most confident people in the world. And that helps him stand out. And so I think that, he's just not satisfied with the status quo. Taking a risk is a great opportunity to stand out and present yourself as a leader, not as a follower satisfied with the status quo. We learn from risks, and the lessons that we learn from can lead us on to even a better path. I think that it can also lead us to internal growth. I think that if you go out there and you stand outside your comfort zone, you're going to find that you can grow inside yourself. Because really, there is no growing without there being the opportunity for you to fail. I know that success will not fall in your lap. You have to pursue it. You have to go for it. You got to go beyond anything that you have ever done before. If you want something that you've never had, you got to be willing to do something you've never done. You got to be willing to go out there and do it. And like either Shannon or Lany was saying, if you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there. So find out exactly where you want to go, in life, in career, in health, in wealth, in business, in your industry, you name it. Pick an exact point that you want to be at. Pick an exact date that you want to get there, and find out how you can get there. I guarantee you there's going to be some risk involved if you set your goals high. See, I think that I've always felt that there was something quite exciting about taking risks. And I think that there's a great saying, actually, that you only learn when you are at risk. I'm fascinated by both risk and learning. So that's led me to take jobs that people would think, you can't do that. That's just impossible. No, it won't be. Well, it has been. I think that I'm successful right now because I wanted to be successful. I pursued it. Taking risks may be a necessary step in actively pursuing your success. I know that you have to put one foot in front of the other. and start on your journey. You have to be comfortable that you don't know exactly how you're going to get the results that you want to see, but you know the results that you want. There's going to be experimentation along the way. There's going to be some failure. There's going to be some learning involved in that, and you have to be comfortable that you can think your way through it and actually execute your way through to your desired outcome. I expected to be successful. I wanted to be successful. I didn't just hope. I didn't just pray. I didn't just want or think. And I went past belief into that knowingness of exactly who and what I wanted to become was already there. And I just decided to move towards it. I knew I was going to trip along the way. But I remember this. If you can look up, you can get up. At any point in time in life, if you get knocked down, you can always get back up. And it's when you get back up, you look back and you go, okay, I won't do that again. That hurt. Let me figure out something that doesn't cause me pain. That's why when they say, if you really, really, really want success, double your rate of failure. Go out there and fail quicker and fail bigger. Because it's the law of averages. Because when they say that, it doesn't have to take a batting average of 1,000% for you to be successful in the industry, for you to just go out there and find 2 to 3 people out of 10 that'll say yes to what you're doing. Well, if you're going out there and you're taking 7, 8, 9 no's out of 10, and you're failing bigger, you're failing quicker, well, guess what? You're gonna, because of the law of averages, you're gonna have more results. You're gonna have more success. But you have to step outside of your comfort zone, and you have to actually allow yourself the possibility of failing. Because if you sit on your couch, you're never going to get results. Unless, of course, those results are becoming an awesome video game player or the best remote control viewer on the planet. Who really wants that? So most people don't realize that there's certain parts of your day that you could be going out there and doing something different. You can be taking a risk maybe. You could be doing something besides sitting on the couch or sitting still. Because if you sit still, you'll get nil. Never said that before either. Shannon, I know that you, in marketing, there was a time in your life when you were, I think you worked for Aflac. And
I did.
You did, yes. Did you do any door-to-door work as well?
I did business to business, door to door. So
how was that in the beginning? Was that easy? Was that comfortable for you? Was that you just walked right in?
Absolutely terrifying. You know what? It was so terrifying. But I did it because I had a passion for the business to business. I loved learning about the different products that Aflac covered. I loved the stuff. I loved so much about Aflac that I just kept going. I was persistent with it. And Billy asked me a couple of days ago, "Have you ever done public speaking?" I did. I would stand in front of tons of people. 50 plus, 100 plus people, and give. And speak. And so it's scary, but I think the one thing today begins my 2-year journey in this industry, and I've been thinking a lot over the weekend, where do I want to go exactly in year 2? I was thinking about the success, I was thinking about the failure, and I'm really satisfied with my first year. I did get those black eyes that you talked about, Billy, but I also realized that I stood outside of my comfort zone, and I put myself in a position to where, there were times I thought I would have a panic attack. I was so scared, right? But it's doing it. It's being consistent, moving forward. It's finding your passion. It's finding your purpose. It's stepping outside and just continuing to go, right? Regardless of how scared you are.
Yes, I love it. You can go further and faster by not looking back, by
Exactly.
Seeing what you want and just going for it, right?
Right.
That's awesome. Lany Sullivan, I don't need to put you back on the bubble. If you had a point in your life where it was scary in marketing or scary in business, scary, in some sort of career, and you said, you know what, screw it, I'm going to go for it.
Yeah, I will tell you, my first job out of high school, my first corporate job out of high school was with Beneficial Finance, and they put me on. I was just a desk girl, like a sales assistant kind of a position, and I got bored with all the menial tasks, and so I asked for more work. Stupid thing to do, let me tell you. But when you're 19, you don't know, and so they gave me a list of people to call. And essentially it was a cold call. They had received money, a check in the mail, and the branch manager wanted them to come in and cash this check and, basically upsell the loan. And so I'm 19. I've never done any kind of cold calling ever in my life. I was scared. Let's just say I was scared. I was going to curse, but I won't curse because I don't like doing that on these calls. But I was scared, okay? I was scared out of my mind. I was about to, I wanted to walk away. I wanted to walk away from it. But I took the bull by the horns, and I was like, you know what? I have never quit at anything. I'm a 3-sport athlete. I know how to do this. I know how to, overcome and, hit a goal. And not only did I, blow it out of the water, I was promoted to a branch manager in a year. I oversold all the salespeople in that office, and I was 19 years old. I couldn't have done it without the training, without the personal development, without, learning the skills, and really I had to overcome my fear. I didn't know what I was doing, but I learned. I made mistakes. I really screwed up quite a few times. But if I hadn't done it then, would I be here today? Absolutely not. I've learned so much from being 19 years old and being stuck in a position where I had to do it. I had to learn, and I could have walked away, and I would never. You wouldn't know my name today if I hadn't done that then.
Well, I think that, when you look at some of the great success stories, people like we had Henry Ford, who risked over and over again to different parts of his business, of the industry. He was the first one to put together the assembly line, one of the first at least, and that was a big risk. You got people like Thomas Edison, who failed over and over and over again 10,000 times until he found the one way that worked. The Wright brothers did not have the right resources, the right skill set, or the right knowledge to actually be the first ones to flight, but they risked it, and they went and they made it happen. Colonel Sanders, at the age of, 62 or 67, went out there and took no after no after no, over 1,000 no's until he found a yes. And so you can't achieve your dreams by playing it safe. It's impossible.
Yeah, can I help you?
Risk-taking won't only potentially benefit the career path that you're on, it may actually open you up to a world of possibilities that you haven't even considered yet or haven't even seen yet. I think for all professionals right now.
Billy, really quick, can you mute that?
I did. We're all good.
Okay.
Saying
awesome.
that, for all entrepreneurs, the world outside our comfort zone can be gigantic and it can be scary. But until we are willing to put ourselves out there and take a risk, we'll never be able to achieve our professional success and realize our true potential. It's time that we leave our comfort zones. It's time that we go after what we're passionate about, and it's time we achieve our dreams and our goals. Embrace the risk and go out there and eliminate and terminate any procrastinate. Because when you sit there and you hesitate, and you hesitate, you end up not even jumping off that cliff. You end up, even though you're only a foot away from the water, you end up not even taking a jump in. You never end up finding if you could actually do what you wanted to do. So just go out there and push through it. Look fear in the eyes and say, you know what, I see you, I feel you, but I'm going to keep going despite of you. I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to prove to you that I can make it happen. Because it's the ones that do that. It's the ones that step outside their comfort zone that make it happen, that make failure a stepping stone to success, that go out there and achieve and realize every dream and goal that they have because they were willing to take the risk. They were willing to go out there and possibly feel and accept pain in exchange for pleasure. think that you can have whatever you want in this life. You just have to go out there. You got to risk getting it. You got to risk what it takes to get there. And it'll define you when you get to success. You know, one of my favorite quotes is, "Success is never final. Success is never final. Failures never fail." People don't benefit from risks without preparing to take them and educating themselves on the possibility that you're going to fall, on the possibility that you're going to stumble. So know beforehand that what you're actually getting yourself into. Because I take calculated risks. While I'm definitely a risk taker, I do my homework at the same time. When I'm out there rock climbing, when I'm out there ice climbing, whitewater kayaking, when I'm out there in business, in sales, marketing, I know the risk that I'm taking. I know what potentially is involved if I don't make it through it. But I'm willing to take those risks. I take very calculated risks. You know, you just don't throw a bunch of pickles at a window and hope one sticks. You know, you figure out exactly what you want. You figure out what's the easiest way, what's the best way, and you know what? What's a risk that you can take, and you know that if it doesn't work out, you can learn from it. Once you figure that out, everything else becomes easy. So, guys, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I hope you're having a fantastic Monday. It is Monday, so let's make this week an absolutely awesome week. Stay passionate, stay positive, and you always stay powerful. So on behalf of my two co-hosts, Shannon Young and Lany Sullivan, guys, stay awesome. We'll see you guys on Wednesday, same bat time, same bat channel. God bless everybody.